So I am here with the one and only Liz Faircloth, uh,
Hello.
the better half of the partnership there, from what I hear.
We
No,
both know him.
it's interesting. Welcome. Hello. Nice to see you.
Hello, Eric. Thank you for having me. Good to see you again.
My
Appreciate it.
pleasure. Liz and Matt spoke at Build It Now Live back in April, and I regret not being able to go to your breakout, right? I heard it was well attended, and I heard it was one of the, if not the best breakout session in the entire uh, conference. And one thing I love about you, Liz, is you're a Jersey girl, so you're very right to the point. You're deliberate and purposeful. And no, but I mean that. I mean that I like people who get to the point and know exactly where they're going with the conversation and what they're looking to convey. And I happen to love your whole purpose as far as invest her, right?
Mhm.
Coming from a single mom who really worked her tail to the bone and
Yeah.
did it the old fashioned way and didn't invest, right? Had 3 or 4 jobs and got a
Yeah.
master's degree and didn't really invest. So I love it. I love what you're doing and I want to hear more about it. So Liz, you have some things happening.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Eric. Thank you for having me. I did. I've been a real estate investor for about 20 years, and about 8 years ago, I actually had my son, my first kiddo, and I actually felt really lost. I left my corporate job to
Mhm.
join my husband full time in our business, all while feeling really like, where's my purpose? What should I be doing? I like real estate, but there was more in me and more in my passion than just going out and buying a property or doing deals, if you will. And then right around the same time, I met my now business partner, Andressa, and we'd get together. We started partnering on deals, and we had this shared passion. Where are the women in this business, and how can we bring them together in a really safe way, in a powerful way, so they can move that needle, move the needle on their investing journey and feel comfortable and confident. And that was the premise, the original premise of why we launched a podcast 6 years ago. And that's really led us creating a community, an ecosystem of 50 plus meetups across the country and in Canada. We have a podcast that's twice a week we release. We also have our annual InvestHER CON, which I am in the throes of, in the depth of right now. We have close to, at this point, our goal is probably about 500 people. Not probably, it will be 500 people in June 2nd to 4th. We still have tickets available,
Mhm.
and our theme is all about taking control of your financial future. So that's a big passion I have, Eric, is how do all people, especially the people we serve as women, take control of their financial future and be in the driver's seat when it comes to really wealth building and being your, best version of yourself as you're building wealth, creating generational legacy, if you will, on your own terms. So that's what we stand for. That's what we believe in. And everything we do is kind of oriented towards making sure we're creating that space for women. We have 30 speakers coming that are all women. We have so many amazing sessions, from the economic outlook to Kim Kiyosaki's a keynote again, Rich Dad Poor
Wow.
Dad, if you
Yeah.
recall. She's speaking about reinventing yourself, especially in times of changing economy. We have a woman talking about boundaries. We have core real estate investing sessions on, leveraging your IRA to, REITs, to buying businesses and alternative investments like self storage. So we have everything kind of like core strategic, how to build your business and investing, but also a lot of sessions on growing yourself.
Mm.
And I'm going to be teaching a session on core genius. It's one of my favorite topics, of like, how do you identify and leverage your core genius? So it's literally an undertaking. So wedding every year, Eric, this is not I know you share this with me. This is financially time, right? It's a lot of an investment, but seeing those women's faces and the connections that are made, playing at the same level they are, that one idea that makes them buy that next property and to pass along wealth to their kids. Okay, now we're talking. Now I'm all in, even though it's a lot of details, a lot of
It,
things happening behind the scenes.
it's from doing these for the last dozen years or so, I know what I love about it is it's a massive investment in time, and there's a lot of money that goes into it. But
Yeah.
it's the afterwards. You mentioned them. people buying properties, connections being made, but when they come to you afterwards, and it's the aftercare, if I call it that, right? Like, people call after an event, and they're okay. I'm so inspired. I want to do X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z. What's the next step? Because
Yep.
events are nice, and you'll learn a lot, and you get pumped up and motivated, and you want to take action, but they need
Absolutely.
that guidance. So I just want to ask you. So you started investing with your business partner. What was the name again?
I started investing long ago with my husband
Your husband.
initially, and then Andres and I actually were
Investment.
partners on a number of deals as well, and that's what got our kind of us going and spending time together to discover this shared passion around serving women and helping women in creating space.
So I guess the question I have is like, how does a woman specifically feel? Because I have a lot of women in my world, and they're working like my
Mhm.
mom did.
Yeah,
And they're afraid to take that next step. They're afraid to, like almost as if they're not qualified, which is ridiculous.
completely ridiculous. Yeah,
So how do they get that confidence or dispel the fear,
yeah.
smash the
Here's what we've found in building a community and interacting with so many women. I've found that here's the lie that we're told: if you get knowledge, you're going to be able to take action. Knowledge equals action, right? That is what we're told. That's what we're handed down from generations of people and educators and people on social media. What I found is that's the furthest thing from the truth. Knowledge alone is not enough. I mean, you can go onto Google right now and Google, how do I buy a rental property? It's not like secret information on how to do it, where to go, the amount of market analysis that's for free.
Mhm.
Before, when I even started, so much is at our fingertips, right? And then to use Chat GDP as a tool in all the things that we're doing, it's like it's amazing, Eric, right? The amount of free stuff that's out there to help us move our business and our investments. But yet people don't do it. So it's not the knowledge, right? It's not enough. And I don't mean to dismiss the power of correct knowledge, because knowledge is powerful, but it has to be coupled, what we believe, with community. So when you couple in knowledge plus community, it really equals that confident action. Because what ends up happening is I know enough about, buying a multifamily in Alabama, right? A goal that many of the women in our community have and that are sourcing opportunities. Okay, great. Who's the community around me that I can tap in that market, in who's already done something like that, so that I don't have to make the same mistakes? And I think, in my belief, and I don't know about men because you could speak more about that than me, but women especially, there is such power in community. We literally see the economy shifting when women are doing things together and spending money together, right? It's staggering, the numbers, right? We saw that last summer with Barbie, Beyonce, Taylor Swift. Literally, Wall Street Journal said women owned the economy this summer. That was the article that was written, because they did things in groups, they did things in community, they had shared interests, and they went in tenfold together to these events and spent money. We're just saying we can create the same, and we're creating the same thing just on the investing side. So we want women to bring their friends, to bring their like-minded women in their life and say, let's go to this conference, or let's go to the meetup, or let's go and buy a property together. Of course, you have to do that correctly in the SEC and all that good stuff we don't have time for. But my point is that knowledge is not enough. Stop trying to do things on your own. Women especially are brilliant at doing things on our own, and that's what's gotten us where we are. And what we're really leaning into is tap the community, tap the right community, who's not just trying to sell you this, can of soda. It's about talking to the right mentors, the right people who's been there and done that, very safe environment. And that's what we're much more community oriented than just the knowledge, because the knowledge is not the piece that makes the difference.
Well, the statistics are out. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. I didn't think we were going to talk about that, but I know that women quietly buy more single women quietly buy more real estate than single men.
Yeah.
That's a fact, right?
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm hearing is like partnerships, like I partnered with my partners. Partnerships are really, really cool when you have the right partnership
Yep.
and you can go a lot further faster, right?
Yes.
Um,
And that really has the opportunity, especially for women who are working full time, and especially real estate agents are a great example, right? They have the knowledge and they're close to the business. They know real estate. They
yeah,
just don't always know it on the investing side. That doesn't mean they need to know it all themselves. So you're tapping the knowledge of other people. You just need to know the right people in the right circumstances and making sure you're doing your due diligence, whatever that looks like. But I don't believe you need to know it all. I think you need to have the right community around you.
hands
That's the key.
hands down. I'm involved in getting a bunch of lots, and we're going to build on it. And I had to reach out to Matt to
Yeah.
ask him some questions. Like I've been in
Great.
business 21 years, but I'm not the expert in all areas of my industry, right?
Yeah.
I reach out to Matt Faircloth. I partner with another investor who's actually an attorney, a land use attorney, who now, like, oh my God, the world just opened up. We don't have to
Yeah.
sit here and figure all that out. He's handling that. So we have a partnership. So you have not just InvestHER Con, but there's an entire community around it. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. And we when we use the word community can kind of feel very big and like, what does that mean exactly? I get that question sometimes. So, we have a way, it's about connection, and it is about being around other like-minded women playing at the same level. And we always say you want to be around people that are like a few steps ahead and that you can also help. Right. And that's what the beautiful thing about, I think, any sort of networking. And the women that are starting out are pretty savvy women. They have the money, they have the credit. They just need a few pieces of the puzzle. And we have a ton of women who are actually scaling their portfolios. They've done deals, lots and lots of women coming to InvestHER Con, but the newbies are welcome too, right? So, couple thoughts. I mean, we have meetups across the country, and these are local meetups of women who can find kind of local connection, and women that are investing. Women have the resources. We had a women in we have a mentorship program for women who are growing their portfolios and scaling.
Mhm.
Application only type of thing, not for newbies. But this woman was in New York, and she said, I want to buy a property in St. Louis. So we immediately connected with her with the InvestHER meetup leader there. She and her connected. They met when she was out there. That InvestHER meetup leader then proceeded to give this woman all the contractors she needed, because she was a local realtor as well, who she needed to talk to for title, for insurance, the local banker. Literally, one connection connected her to all the right people in that area. It's her first out of state property that she bought. It's a duplex. And she never thought that was possible until she started to meet the right people. So that's the meetups, it's about local connection. And we have meetups across the country. So that's one way that our community is in play. The other part of the community is we have a free Facebook community that women can ask questions. Hey, done a little due diligence about I want to buy a single family home to rent out, midterm rental, whatever, or short term rental or vacation rental. There's so many strategies in this business. I'm thinking of this. What do you think? It's that way to, bounce
Yeah.
off of people. So that's a free community. That to me is community. You're not doing it alone. You're asking for help. And you're also getting help from people that have done it, right? That have been there. And then
Is
obviously our conference. So we're constantly saying, how do women stop doing things alone? Tap the community either online or in person. And then we're doing more regional events. We did a regional event last week. Andres and I did some masterminding with a group of women in the Philly area. We did that last time in Austin as well. So more about building the events and really surrounding yourself with the right women.
is the Facebook community a private or open public?
It's private. It is private, but it's free. Yeah, it's because we want to keep it a little more
Sure.
safe and not
Sure.
have random people getting in there. We're
And
very careful.
it's important that I like you have people who are seasoned vets in the space, and then people who are like brandy spanking new who have no clue what to do, and then people in the middle
Yep.
who maybe have just closed on a property or a two or what have you, and now
Yeah.
are so it's like you have the whole full spectrum. which is important because I know, again, I speak to a lot of people from Build It Now. A handful of women hit me up afterwards and they're like, okay, I've never done it yet. And we're talking most of these people were agents, right? They've been an
Yeah.
agent for 25 years, but they've never invested in real estate. Um, and it's not that I don't want to help them myself, but I'm like, you might find a really good zone to go to InvestHER Con because now you're there's a study Charles Duhigg does, The Power of Habit.
Yeah.
They say that in that book he chronicles Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, as
Mm.
being the largest single most effective habit changing organization, and the reason it is because of the community, because of the fact that there's groups, right? And that whole
Yeah.
group, what I hear is like groups of like-minded people.
Who embody the same type of beliefs, even so that we're gonna at our conference, right, read almost like a what do we believe, like what do we stand for, because that's important. Not every community is the same, not every group is the same, not every women in real estate investing, because there's so many, are the same, and there's not right or wrong, but it's finding groups that you align with your values. We take a holistic approach. I mean, it's not just about buying that property, it's who am I becoming to buy that property? Am I having authentic conversations? Am I showing up as my best self? Am I taking care of myself along the way? Because that's the most important thing. No one tries to build wealth and wants to kill themselves in the process, right? I don't want that. No one wants that. But that happens. And so we're very like, what's the holistic approach here? That's why I'm super excited about this woman. She wrote a book called Boundary Boss. And she's a best-selling author. Her name's Terry Cole. Phenomenal, phenomenal book. We had her on our podcast, and we're like, you got to come to InvestHER Con. Anyway, she's one of our keynotes, and she talks about no one deserves your immediate yes. And why is that important, Eric? Because that's going to help me become a better investor. That's going to help me move through my own fears if I start saying no. Right? If you have no boundaries or you have too many boundaries, there's all types of people,
Right.
especially women though, right? We tend to be more caretakers. We tend to be more giving. And I know I've worked on that, but that's helped me become a better businesswoman, and it's helped me become a better leader. I have, the amount of people that are asking me for exceptions, and this right now, it's like crazy, right? We're getting a lot of that, especially when you do events, right? Everyone thinks they have a unique story, and I'm like, I gotta have we have to have boundaries for the company, but I also have to have personal boundaries, and that is making me a better investor. That's why we have women talking about boundaries at our conference. It's not just about how to flip more properties in a year, because
So
that's what people always want to do, Eric, right? They want to learn the tactical stuff and not do the work on themselves. And that's the part that's the most important part, is actually the more meaningful part versus just the strategy or the tactics. That's the easiest part of this
yeah,
business, in my
I
opinion.
I was on a coaching call this morning, and half the call was not talking about tactics. It was talking about, well, what about you? How do you have to show up better personally to me?
Yeah.
And so you get at InvestHER Con, you're not just going to talk tactics. A lot of it, and I imagine there's different sessions. There's
Mhm.
over from the second to the fourth, so it's at least 2.5 days, right?
Yeah. 3 days.
3 days. And so there's breakout sessions and that are talking not just about tactical stuff on how to find your next property or how to fund it, but give us one title of a breakout. Like what would be a topic to work on someone individual self?
Yeah. Yeah. Day one is Sunday. We actually have 2 workshops going on. They are additional, but they're very powerful. One is on Matt is going to be teaching one on multifamily, how to really thrive right now in the multifamily space. And then we have another session on like building the business you want around as you invest, are you building the right business with the right mindset? So those are our 2 kind of workshops. And then day one of like Monday starts and kicks off. We have all the breakouts. Everyone gets all the sessions, so that's really cool. One of the breakouts I'm just looking at here, we have the economic outlook. We have Sally Krawchuk is our first keynote. She has CEO and co-founder of Ellevest and is the largest online platform for women investing in stocks. She's a former Wall Streeter. She's been on tons of news outlets. Very, very successful woman. Very, very well known. She's talking about taking control of your finances from a different vantage point, not just investing in real estate, but other
Right.
investing. So super pumped about her. But anyway, one of our first key breakouts. One is about hiring an assistant, actually like a how-to guide, because that's the big challenge that women will have is like, I'm working full time, trying to build my businesses, and you can't do it all yourself. You got to build a team. On some level, you have to buy people's hours. We always like to say you might not be able to like hire like 10 full-time staff right now, but you can buy 2 hours. That's something you can probably figure out how to do. How do you do that? How do you get the right like VA? What's that process? We have somebody talking about that. Another breakout at the same time is actually moving beyond your past, because what ends up happening too is that people stay in their heads and they let the past equal the future.
Yeah.
And we've all made mistakes. So we have a woman really pumped about her session. We have one of our sponsors talking about planning your retirement and getting really creative with using your self-directed IRA. So you can actually buy property with multiple people using their self-directed IRA. Very, very creative and clever things that you don't think about. So pretty excited about that. So that's just one breakout in the sessions that we have.
So they go to InvestHER CON, they love it.
Now what?
Now what? Right. So now what? Like, so they want that guidance, that hand holding and or mentorship. There's obviously that available.
Yeah, we're building out a mentorship and coaching for complete newbies. It's not something we have a organized way right now. What we do is two things. There's a 30-day after InvestHER CON accountability call that Andres and I lead. And so that's one thing that is literally baked into the process. We get a really good participation out for that. 30 days is about the time that if you're going to start to wane on something, it's like, what did I do there? Like, this is an investment, right? We know that, right? We know it's an investment, and it is an investment because you're investing in doing something with what you're learning, right? So part of it is accountability. Part of it is, okay, what's my plan moving forward? So they start to develop accountability groups as a follow-up to InvestHER CON. So really, that's just something we've always done, part of what we do, which I love. And then the meetups right now, Eric, are kind of there for women to get plugged in ongoingly to the community. We have a very, very structured, consistent mentorship for women who've done 5 to 10 rentals and deals. We're putting the same type of thought into a program, if you will, for women that are just trying to get their first deal. Hopefully we'll be rolling that out soon because it's needed, and we know there's a way we can serve. We're just building out the process, the team to do that. So
yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So Liz, if there was, what's your favorite part? I want to say part, or what's your favorite outcome that you've experienced? I know this is not your first conference by any stretch. What would be your favorite takeaway, if you will?
I think for me as the host, right? Because I'm speaking, I'm hosting, I'm kind of like the bride of the wedding, right?
Yeah.
If you will. So I love having a moment when I'm sitting in the back of the room and I'm not on the stage, because we take turns and we have panels. We have 2 panels, really, really cool panels. We sprinkle in most of its keynotes, and then we have breakouts. That's how we do it. There's moments that I'm sitting in the back of the room and I'll say hello to everyone, but everyone's listening. And then I see the participation, and what we do a lot, Eric, is that women are in circles. They're in a table. So they're doing work together. That's our process, right? They're pairing and sharing. They're writing things down. It's like a workshop.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-day workshop. It's not just speak to me. It's like, right. We have one session I'm super pumped about, I forgot to mention, called Deal or No Deal, where they're going to actually get a deal with the numbers. And as a group, they're going to analyze, do I want to do this deal? And B, how do I creatively finance this deal? And the woman that's leading it is like a master at creative finance.
They're going to underwrite a deal live.
They're going to underwrite a deal live. And so what I love in those moments is that women are interacting, solving problems. It's not just about listening how to finance a property. Like, you're not doing that. You're talking, and you're sitting to someone who has maybe done creative finance, or you're new, you're learning, you're speaking up. It's so cool. And then women will get at the mic. So we do a lot of parent share, a lot of group work. And then we have these cool like mics with our logo on it. I love them. They're like foam. So you throw them around
Yeah,
the
throwing,
room. And then the woman gets it. And then we say, what's coming up for you? Because that's a question we'll say, Erica, like, and then the woman will just start crying because she's finally had a moment to listen to herself, to be perfectly frank.
yeah.
It's not rare for women to literally, I meet, they'll come up to me. I'll start talking to them within 3 minutes, they're crying. And it's not me, right? It's not like I'm like, I'm like the God-given people cry in front of me. It's not me. I'm just asking them questions that they're not getting asked in their life. And it's just space to like, I never thought of that. And I need a moment. I need some space. So to see women getting the space they need, having the conversations they need to have is like so cool.
Yeah.
Beyond the fact that women will come up to me and go, oh my God, last year I didn't have any properties. And, I own two duplexes today. Like now, like those kinds of like tangible like results. But the energy is like totally palpitating it. What's the word? And really at a level that I believe is unique in this industry. Women aren't just going rah, rah, rah. It's like women are learning and crying and laughing together. And that's what it's the whole, and it's a big conference. It's not just like a small little retreat. So it's like this retreat-like event that women are really doing the work to work on their goals and move towards their ultimate wealth building goals. So I feel very honored, and I remember that feeling as we're going through all the minutia, because there is so much minutia, and I'm not a big minutia person, but I love the impact that we make, and that's what really, really, really drives me.
You and Matt taught a breakout
Yeah.
session, how to invest, or I don't know the title, but it was investing with your spouse.
Yes.
Would you ever consider adding the spouses, or is it not really in the play for
Yeah,
now?
no, that's a really good question. We've talked about doing that. We've gone back and forth, to be honest with you, because the one thought would be we can do something and then like say Matt, make it more of like a family thing. I think in the future we would kind of like do that or entertain that. I think where we came back to, Eric, was now this is something else that women are going to do with their families or do with their spouse. We really wanted to create space for something that was just for them. They'll end up bringing their spouse, so they'll hang out at the resort, or because we go to nice resorts. Well, we go to Omni resorts, so these are nice places. There's golf. There's nice pools. I mean, these are beautiful places, right? So a lot of them do bring their husbands. They're walking around, and it's cool to meet a lot of the spouses, husbands or wives or whomever. But we just want to like, okay, if we're planning programming, let's really perfect and lean into who we're serving. And I think eventually we might get there, but yeah, we've kind of toyed with that. And it's an interesting one. We'd love to do like a couples retreat. That's one of our goals, me and Matt, where the women in our community or whomever, spouses and partners come. A small, more retreat. I don't know if we do a conference. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
To come.
I want to close it up and um, final words. I mean, look, I love, really, truly, honestly love what you do. I love the whole InvestHER CON concept, and I believe that there's that having created that space, that someone should really look at that and say, that's the place where I should have my jumping off, like that's my springboard, to get that confidence. What would be a final word to?
I think that the final piece, well, one thing I'll say is we're happy to share. I think you have the link, and the link is at the bottom of the screen. For anyone that's watching this, we really want to be, we don't want money to be a reason for you not to come, because we want to give you 10 times the value of anything that you get. That's how I evaluate things. I'm going to get 10 times the value of what I'm putting in. But I have a code. I want to make sure I say it right. It's called IC200. So it's $200 off. Really, really today, because time is of the essence, right? We're moving less than a month. So, but it's $200 off. We don't normally do that and I want to do that for your community and your listeners here. So it's IC200 is what you would put in as a code if you go to the website and you're kind of leaning towards coming, or and I would love for you to come. I think there's moments in our lives, especially with the economy, is that there's a lot of moving pieces. And I think you have to surround yourself with people that are playing at your level or above. And the only way to do that is to be around the right people in the right community to get you there. So I would just really encourage everyone listening that we are committed that you get 10 times the value of being there. And it's an investment, hotel, air. I get it. I mean, it's not a cheap trip, but we're not in the cheap business. We're in the value business. We're in creating value for people. This is real estate investing. So I would hope that one connection you make will make you 10 times what this is going to cost you, right? That's the goal. So that would be my words of encouraging whenever you're faced with a decision to make. What would my future self tell me? Because that's how I make decisions. Because sometimes I go back and forth. Do I want to do this? Do I not? What are the risks? I go through the same process with my own stuff, my own choices and my own decisions. But then I ask myself, what would future Liz say? And if future Liz says, go for it, I usually listen to her because I know she sees things that I don't see. So that would be my words and do that in all your areas of life, not just making a decision on a conference. But I would say that's a great piece of advice when you're making decisions. So your current self doesn't hold you back, but your future self helps pull you towards that greater vision, that greater goal that you have. So that's my piece of advice.
June 2nd to 4th. Where is the conference?
It's in Austin, Texas. It's at a beautiful resort called the Omni Barton Creek. It's right outside of Austin, like downtown. It's about 10, 15 minutes outside of Austin. But it's it's coming up. And like I said, IC200 is a ticket off. And if it doesn't, I would love for women to come with their friends, come with a friend, come with people that you could support each other. That's the name of the game, So.
Yeah. I really think that if anyone sees this and they're thinking they want to get in or scale their business, if they're already investing in real estate and they want to go to the next level, that absolutely, I've seen you speak, and I can, I've seen the content that you speak about, and I just know that everything you're doing is like top notch, and I really believe that.
Thank you.
So, I'm really excited. Hopefully we get some reports back.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And I would also, Eric, offer that there's a lot of breaks and I'm walking around. I would love to support and pour into the women that are going. I don't know if I could, I'm not able to talk to every single person individually, but I talk to a lot of women and I support a lot of women, sometimes in the bathroom, sometimes, all places. So, and it's not just me, it's 30 other speakers, right? These are top-notch women that you're going to be bumping arms with and connecting. They're going to be there most of the conference, these speakers. They engage with the women. It's so cool. I mean, I'm personally so excited to meet Sally. I'm excited to see Kim again. And I'm really excited to meet the Boundary Boss lady, Terry. She's just amazing. So
some pretty cool speakers from what I hear. And let me just see. I just want to make sure. Boundary Boss, is that the name of the book?
Yes, Boundary Boss. Yeah.
From Terry Cole.
Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
June 2nd to the 4th in Austin, just outside of Austin. Check it out, InvestHERCon.com.
Yep, IC200 to get your $200 off. So
IC200. Yep. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Eric, so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.